Welcome to another installment of Weekend Alchemy. My name is Solarah, and I hope that you're doing wonderfully this weekend. It is Sunday, February the 18th, 2024, and the title for today's installment is Purging False Matrix Ring Magic Through the Aquarius Stellium and Full Moon Cycles, Erasing Karmic Loops. Matrix-doctored Saturnian spells are melting. The architects of the false matrix utilize the exploitation of the shadow energies of planets in order to further their own malefic agendas. Saturn is a keeper of time and a planetary teacher of the wisdom we are to gain from karmic lessons. It is Saturn that decides when we are ready to graduate and break out into the next ring of a cycle. As such, in her evolved and ascended state, she is the planet of wisdom that assists us in connecting with and living out our unique sense of greatness. Saturnian energy and access was utilized malevolently in the false matrix system to bind us energetically and frequentially. This way, we did not have access to the cosmological intelligence we needed to rise and learn from our mistakes, therefore stagnating us in karmic cycles designed to bring about our own decay, destruction, and dysfunction. The Matrix used this magic to make it near impossible for us to even discern that we were stuck in a loop. Ascension came, and we were finally able to break the frequential densities that kept us from accessing our truth. And the more we began to heal ourselves of the traumas that had been incited and perpetuated by way of this magic, the more we were able to see clearly and reconnect to our own divine purpose. That Saturnian magic has been dying and is now dwindling all the more. It is being helped by the strong Aquarian energy we are basking in currently. Aquarius is under the co-rulership of Saturn, and this new age is allowing for the planet to rise back into her proper divine alignment, having had her energies wrongfully exploited by those who desire to keep others under their control. Understand and overstand that no planet or energy is evil, but quite neutral in their existence. It is the choice of other beings to connect to these energies and utilize their power wrongfully and with evil intentions. Saturn is the planet that assigns and keeps law and order. The false matrix system was able to propagate its agendas by the exploitation of this planet's abilities. Therefore, those who abuse Saturnian powers are the evil ones, not the planet herself. At the time of writing, 5 planetary bodies or luminaries are stationed in Aquarius: the Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Pluto, which is still sitting tight at the 0-degree mark. Saturn is still making its way through Pisces, bringing a new order to what was put asunder by way of the Piscean distortions of the old age. On a more personal level, people will use malefic Saturnian magic to bind others to places, situations, and patterns designed to disable, disempower, delay, stagnate, and keep them stuck. We can see how this played out through the many karmic relationship dramas of the Matrix, which were often held together and propagated by these spells. Many people and groups were also bound to lands and thematic loops in order to keep them cycling through low-frequency experiences which further induced guilt, shame, and fear. This was sometimes accomplished using situations that incited violence, sickness, psychological unrest, or financial hardship. When you are a target of Saturnian energy that has been used malevolently, you cannot seem to find a way out of a pattern or situation by way of a natural means. It is never an issue of willpower, but of identifying the cycles and patterns that you have become entangled in unbeknownst to you consciously. You may get away from one bad situation only to find yourself in the exact same scenario but with different scenery and characters. This kind of spell work becomes especially detrimental when it disrupts your basic ability to survive. It can cause addiction, mental and psychological distress, physical sickness, constant relationship drama, and severe financial blocks. Unfortunately, this is often the point for those who cast these kinds of spells against their targets. Some physical manifestations of active Saturnian magic include the presence of moths, the smell of sulfur, unexpected mold issues, accidents and tragedies that seem to follow you on a Saturday, an inability to escape a pattern or situation. Every time you acquire what it is you need to leave or break out, something interferes and causes prevention. And finally, a black sticky residue may start forming on seemingly everything in your home. These are all, of course, issues that are sometimes not connected to magic. But if you are sensing that there are binding spells that have been placed upon you, and you begin to notice these signs in abundance, there is a good chance that malefic Saturnian magic is at play. Malefic Saturnian magic is especially difficult to break because its whole point is to bind its victim unawares. Targets become like a fly wrapped up in someone else's spider web, and the only way out is to begin to move the web layer by layer. However, once you are aware that the spell is in existence, it is already losing its potency. The invisibility and anonymity factor often add power to spells of this caliber and help them to properly work. This is how and why the Saturnian magic of the false matrix is falling apart. It can't hide in secrecy anymore. Furthermore, we have been freeing ourselves of the rings of spells we had been binded to. As such, we now have access to timelines and realities that once were out of our reach and ability to actualize due to this fuckery. As we get ever closer to the full moon in Libra eclipse, more of these rings are falling, alongside the many entities that supported their existence and kept these spells alive. This is also a result of the many timeline collapses that have been occurring through the full moons of this year. As we gear up for another full moon in a few days, more of these timelines held together by malefic Saturnian magic are falling apart completely. Remember that when timelines collapse, the themes they had you stuck in will come to life in some way, sometimes mentally, sometimes emotionally, and sometimes materially. Know that this is a replay of history, and as real as some of these reenactments feel, you have the choice to simply bear witness, laugh, and let these stories die. They only have the power to replant themselves in your reality again if you believe in their power and buy the lie that they are repeating themselves and you are therefore stuck and helpless to escape. These timelines and spells need your energy now more than ever in order to be resuscitated into a reloop. So, starve the fuckers. These feelings of powerlessness and fear are, of course, the emotions that these spells want to incite, as they are fed off of our trauma responses of fear, guilt, and shame, or what I call the trauma trifecta. So be aware of when energies want to drag you into states of hopelessness or despair. Those emotions don't have to be your truth anymore. It does feel like this full moon in Virgo is going to be less energetically taxing than the last full moon in Leo. However, we are still purging a lot through these first full moon periods of 2024 up until the Libran eclipse. So be aware, be gentle with yourself, and refuse to lay claim to any energies and illusions that need your trauma responses in order to survive. Ashe. For more information on the breaking and the erasing of these karmic loops, I will be delving into this topic more on my YouTube channel, Solarah Speaks, so please stay tuned. For access to all of my articles and installments in full, please make sure to check me out on Substack at dailyalchemy.substack.com. For all of you who choose to become monthly or annual patrons, you will have continual access to these articles as they are published, as well as to the full archive of all my articles, decrees, as well as my works of nonfiction and poetry. Every month, my patrons also get the opportunity to connect with me in a group Q&A via video link. So if you feel that that would be helpful on your healing and ascension journey, please make sure to check me out on dailyalchemy.substack.com. Wishing you guys all a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.